Hello, I'm going to talk about C++ friends class. Now before to start this video, I want to talk about three characteristics here that comes to mind every time I think about friend class. The first one is that friendship is given, not taken. The second one is that friend class makes everything accessible. And then the third one is that friendship is not inherited. So let's write some code. So in Visual Studio, I'm going to create a new project. It's going to be a console application. Click Next. I'm going to give it a name. A little bit of cleanup. And the first thing I'm going to do here is to create a couple of classes. So I'm going to create the first class, and I'm going to name this class the cat class. So the cat class is going to have a string called cat breed, and the cat breed of the string is going to be Bengal. The cat also is going to have a function, a private function called cat talk. So now I need to implement this function, and because I see the green squiggly, I'm going to hover over, then show potential fix, and then create definition. So here's my definition, and the cat is just going to be doing a meowing. Alright, so the cat class is now done. And if you can see here, the cat class is very private. So if you instantiate the cat class, you can't do much because everything is private. There's nothing public. So for the main, if I instantiate a cat object and then use the object to access something, there's nothing there. And the reason is because everything on the cat is private. Alright, so now I'm going to create a second class, and I'm going to call this class the dog class. And the dog class is going to be something crazy similar to the cat, but the dog class is going to have a string called dog breed, and the dog breed is going to be poodle. So let me fix this string here, show potential. Good. Now everything is good with the string, and the dog is going to have a function called dog talk. Just like the cat, but the dog talk function is public. I want to show potential fix, create a definition. And the dog is going to be barking. Alright, so just recap, a very simple dog class and a very simple cat class. Now, from the main, I'm going to include the dog. And then I'm going to create a dog object here. And then from the object, I'm going to call the talk function. So I'm going to run this program. And then if I run, I can see that's barking. Okay, good. But what if I want this function here to do the barking and the meowing? So I want to go to the definition of this function, and right here it's barking, but I want also to hear the cat sounds. So if I want to do that for the cat sounds, I'm going to include the cat header, and then I'm going to create a cat objects, and then I'm going to use the C to call the cat talk function. However, I cannot do that. So the cat talk function, if I try to call from here, it's not gonna let me. It gives me an error because it says here it is inaccessible. So this here is an error, specifically access error, because cat talk is a private function. So because it's private, then the class that instantiates that cat class cannot access. One way to make this work is if the cat gives the friendship to dog. So now I'm going to go to the cat class, and right here I'm going to create a friend class dog. So this line of codes gives the friendship to the dog class. And the friendship is only one way. The cat is offering the friendship. The cat is giving all of the cat's content to the dog. But when I do this here, it does not mean that the cat has the contents of the dog. So this line is when the cat gives the friendship to the dog. So assume that this is the cat and this is the dog. When the cat claimed friendship to the dog, that means all the functions and variables from the dog class are available for the dog. So the dog now can see all the class items from the cat class. However, so far in the code, the dog has not given the friendship to cats. Because the dog has not given the friendship to the cats, then the cats cannot see anything from the dog. So remember, friendship is given, never taken. So now that the cats gave the friendship to the dog, now the dog can access the private function from the cat class. So now, if I go back to the main and run this program again, now the main program called the dog talk, and because the cat gave the friendship to the dog, the same function can also call the cat function. If the cat tries to access the dog's function, so let's say I'm going to create a object type dog here, and the cat class can certainly instantiate a dog object, no problem whatsoever. However, when the cat class wants to access a private member, it would not let it access. So dog talk is a public, so dog talk is accessible at this moment. However, if I move dog talk to the private area, the cat will have an error right here because dog talk is private and the dog did not give friendship to cats. So because the dog did not give friendship to cats, then the cat class cannot access the private members of the dog. Now, if I go to the dog class and if I friend the cats, now the cat has access to the dog as well. So if I go back to the cat class, I see that there is no more error right here, and this code can run just as fine now. So friendship is always given and it's always one way. I want to go back to dog. I want to remove the friendship with the cat, and then I want to move the bark back to public. And now I want to create another class. I'm going to add a class here, and I'm going to call this the class child. This class child doesn't do much. However, this class child is going to inherit the dog class. Now, this child class is going to have one function called do something. And the do something for now is just going to say do something. On the main, I'm going to include the child class, and then I'm going to instantiate a child object. And as soon as I instantiate the child object, I want to call the do something function. So the do something function, if I run this program now, all I see is the do something, and this came from the child class. But now I want the child class to access something from the dog, because if you remember, the child class is inheriting everything from the dog class. So because the child is inheriting everything from the class, right here I can also do c.talk. So this is from the child class, and this thing here is from the dog class. And the child class can see the dog function because the child class inherits everything from the dog class. However, if I get the child class to access something from the cat, that's not gonna work. So let's try. So here I can certainly instantiate a cat class. However, if I want to access a member of the cat class, I can't. So let's say I want to call the cat talk function. So if I want to do that, it will not let me because the cat talk function is private and the cat gave friendship to the dog, not to the child. And when that happens, we can see that friendship is not inherited. So currently we have something like, currently we have the child class, and the child class inherits everything from the dog class. And because of that, every single class member from the dog class will be available to the child through inheritance. All right, and the last thing we have now is the cat class. And the cat class has its members, and the cat class gave the friendship to the dog. So because it gave the friendship to the dog, all the items, all the private items from cats goes over there as a friend. Remember, we're doing this as a friend, not as inheritance. The dog has access to all the cat's class items through friendship. But then you would think that all these items from the cats will also carry over to the child because the child is inheriting from the dog. But in reality, this does not happen because friendship is not inherited. The cat gives friendship to the dog and to nobody else. So even if someone inherits from the dog, that friendship is not inherited. Now, one question that comes to mind here is if the cat gave a friendship to the dog, therefore the dog has all the items from the cats because the dog has access to the cats. What if now the dog gives friendship to the child? So the dog is going to give a friendship to the child. So because the dog gave the friendship to the child, so the child can now access all the dog's class members. But the question now is, will the child also have access to all the items from cats? After all, the cat gave friendship to the dog and the dog gave friendship to the child. So the child has access to the dog's class members, but will the child have access to the cat's class members? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Only dog in this case has access to cat's private functions and private variables. So let's test this theory now. So I want to go to the dog class and then I want to give friendship to the child class. So now cat gave friendship to the dog and dog gave friendship to child. So if we try to compile this program, we are going to have a problem because if you look right here in the bottom, it says cannot access private members declared to class cat. So the only way we can fix this is by making cat talk a public function, or if cat gives the friendship to child. So cat can give the friendship to the child class. So now we have something like this. So we have the cat with its members gave the friendship to the dog. So this is the dog. The dog has its own members and all the items from the cats is available on the dog. And then finally, the child class also gets all the items from cats, because cats again gave the friendship directly to child. So now child has the same visibility on cats that dog has. So this here is not through inheritance. It has to be to direct friendship from cats. So cats gave the friendship to dog, and cat also gave the friendship to child. Therefore, both child and dog can have access to cats. Now, the way the program is right now, dog has not given the friendship to cat, and child has not given the friendship to cat either. So because of that, cat cannot use anything from the dog, and cat also cannot use anything from child if they are private. All right, so now that the cat gave friendship to the class, now the child can access the private function from the cat class. And now if I run this program, we are going to have a problem here. And the problem is, I bet that there is a circular one function calling the other function, and I bet is that the dog calling the cat and the cat calling the dog. Yep. So I'm gonna remove this call right here, so one function is not calling the other one forever. And then I'm gonna run this program again, and now I do not have the circular call of one function calling the other function. Now I'm gonna clean up a little bit further right here. So the do something, I'm gonna go to the do something, and I'm gonna clean up the cat call here, and then I'm gonna take a look on the dog. The dog talk does the barking and then calls the cat talk. I'm gonna pick the definition just to see what's in there. Yep. So now we're gonna have a clean run, and now we have the do something function. Then I have the dog talk that calls the cat talk. So therefore I have these two output here. All right, so that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.